Giving back while pursuing your career can be a big challenge. So I spoke with Micaela Connery, the founder of Unified Theater, to find out how you can give back in an impactful way while also pursuing the career of your dreams. At just 15 years old, Micaela founded Unified Theater to empower disabled young people on stage. Now, just 10 years later, Micaela reaches 35 schools and 4,000 students. We talked about giving back every day, about the challenges of pursuing a nonprofit career path, and about the lessons that she's learned and that we can all learn from helping disabled people every day. Micaela, you got a great education. You're clearly a very smart woman. You could be making a lot of money right now in the workplace. How did you decide to take a path that might really not be making that much money, but is ultimately making a very strong social impact?
You got to do what you're passionate about. When I was 15, I started this club in my high school, and it was clear that at the time when I graduated college, what appealed to me was being challenged and being, sort of the academic piece and the strategy piece and the working with people piece, and not necessarily the bottom line of how much money you're going to make. And so to be able to have all those exciting challenges, but doing it with something that I had been passionate about since I was 15, Unified Theater, the idea of inclusion and bringing kids together and developing student leaders, to be able to use my brain but also have something that got my heart excited too, seemed like an obvious thing for me to do.
You talked about the challenges. Obviously, being an entrepreneur in the social space has a lot of ups and downs. Was it smooth sailing all along?
My parents said, that's a great idea, but what are you going to do about health insurance? What are you going to do about, living expenses?
Details.
Details, come on. And it was 2009, so it was just as the economy had gotten really bad, and people were like, you're nuts. This is like the time when nonprofits are closing down, not when nonprofits are opening. But I moved back to Hartford, Connecticut, where I had originally started Unified. I waitressed at night and did Unified Theater during the day. I'll never forget my boss at the restaurant I worked at. I'm a very good waitress, and he was like, when are you going to quit your fake job and come do this full time? And I'm like, no, that is my real job. Like, I want to do that. And it, was baby steps. We slowly grew to the point where I got a small stipend, and I was able to bring on different awesome board members, awesome volunteers, pull in expertise from the community. So I had lawyers telling me about how to build a board, how to keep my trademark, how to manage all the risk and liability stuff there. So bringing in the right people.
In forging your own path, was there ever a point where you said, you know what, forget it, I'm going into the more typical workforce?
Yeah, there were definitely moments where I thought, this is nuts, as I'm like waitressing steaks to all the business people, and I'm like, I should be like meeting with them for funders, not giving them their like steak au poivre, but
here's steak and a pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Clearly you've devoted your whole life to making a difference. How can every single young person make an impact on the greater society?
So I think the first way that people can make an impact is to go one-on-one, to find one person that you can touch. I think that there's so much right now in the social enterprise sector and building these big businesses, and that is so important. But there's also something to be said for reaching out to individuals. And those sort of one-to-one relationships, I think really are what's going to make our world a better place, is if we have that human connection, if we reach out to people around us, if we extend a hand when we see that someone needs it. I think the second thing is sharing expertise. So whether you're a developer and a nonprofit needs to build a new online system to manage their volunteers and their programs, or you're a lawyer that has a specialty in trademark law and a nonprofit is dealing with their trademark development, sharing those skills in a pro bono way and really saying, I can give you advice, but I can take a project for you and I can own it. And it's a discrete amount of time, but you're doing a huge service to a not-for-profit agency. And then I think the third is valuing that sector. So often I meat with wonderful business people who really understand the space of the social sector and how much we play a role in family life for their employees. But for those people I meet, I also meet the same amount of people who say, honey, that's so nice what you're doing, sort of in this cute kind of, demeaning, like, oh, it's so nice, like, eventually you'll get a real job kind of thing. And so I think if people in the for-profit sector and across sectors can recognize that people who are running not-for-profits or working for not-for-profits aren't like, nice little volunteers, but they're people meeting significant community needs, running significant businesses, dealing with significant problems. I think those three things, to be able to, reach out to the people in your community that you interact with every day, share your skill set, and then really value the social sector and the people that keep it running.
Micaela, thanks so much.
Thank you.
No matter what your career path, there's a way to give back. Step 1, find a way to give back to your community one-on-one. Step 2, donate your expertise pro bono. And step 3, recognize that those around you who are pursuing nonprofit career paths are pursuing legitimate career paths. And finally, the #1 lesson to learn from those who Micaela helps every day is that we're all struggling with our own disabilities, but the key is to put the spotlight on ability.